Morning, guys. I hope everyone is well. It's Thursday, the 26th of March, and this is your daily market outlook. So, before we get into the actual content and charts, just make sure you understand that the content on these videos and inside the Discord is for educational purposes only. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. So, understand that anything that I say, don't take it as financial advice. It is all just for educational purposes only. So, with that being said, let's get straight into the charts to see what is happening today. Let's have a quick look at the news calendar. And as you guys can see, unemployment claims is at 1:30 my time. So that's something to keep an eye on. That's red folder news for the US dollar. So that is what we've got for today in regards to news. Definitely something to keep an eye on. This week's been a bit challenging for some people. It's just been a bit boring, if I'm honest, from my perspective, where my whole thing with this week has just been consolidating. It's been up, it's been down, it's come back down, it's come back up. So it's not been the cleanest week to catch trades. So if any of you guys, feel like you've been burnt this week, understand that, this is just part of the game. And sometimes the hardest part is to not trade, if that makes sense. And sitting on your hands can be the biggest blessing. Going. So yeah, let's see obviously what's going on today and for the rest of this week. But as you can see, from this demand area, market slowly starting to move away. Still extremely slow, extremely consolidating. So, not the cleanest work that we can obviously work with. Going into, let's look from the naked eye, going into the 4 hour, you can see that market obviously reacted from the lower this level here, which will be a 1 hour demand area. Let me just change this quickly. This area here, this out, which was a 1 hour demand area, not a 4 hour. My apologies. But yeah, out of this 1 hour demand area, market obviously had a great reaction. It liquidated the tops, failed to obviously keep the candle above there. Then it come back down. Then it's coming to this 1 hour demand area, which we can obviously see in a sec. Then it's moving back up slowly. So yeah, market is deciding what it should be doing. But from a 4 hour perspective, you can see that this is extremely sideways. The internal structure is obviously, bullish at this moment in time. We are in this 4 hour supply area here still, and we also have a 1 hour supply area, which I will go down to the one and show you guys here. We have plenty of imbalance that we can fill. So, my whole thought is, obviously market can potentially at any time from a foot perspective, if it doesn't want to come into, these areas above, it can just decide to start melting off from here because we're in that 4 hour supply, if 4 hours going to stick and take control. But we've got to play what we see right now. And what we see right now is internal structure on the 1 hour, is being bullish, creating them higher highs and higher lows, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. You guys can see that even though it's choppy, you can see that market has been uptrending. So with that being said, looking at the markets today, market has been bullish, from this imbalance that we have, this little gap here. We failed to tap into that 1 hour demand area. So let's just mark this out. We had a little imbalance here. We failed to come in tap into the demand area, which I would have preferred to happen. So yeah, what I was waiting for is if market could, this scenario, drop below, fill in the imbalance, and then make that move away. For me in this scenario, I still will want to see that. I'm still going to be patient with that because we have still left that imbalance below the Asian lows here. Now, obviously, if you look at what market's doing right now is, yes, we've had this engulfing candle here. Market has literally, at this moment in time, retraced slightly to fill in the imbalance that we left. And it's, obviously trying to push away. But just me being, truthful, what I would want to see is this demand area. I'm not confident enough in longing from here. What could happen is, let's say the market moves away from here right now, then that might open up a new range. So this will be a higher low, a new higher high, and then you could potentially look for the longs again into this 1 hour supply area. So let's see what happens going into today with the dollar. Going over to Euro USD, pretty similar scenario, ish, should we say. Obviously, we don't need to cover it too much on a daily time frame. It's still the exact same as been throughout the week. Looking at this 4 hour range, you can see that. In fact, let's mark this out so you can see 4 hours, still bullish. 4 hour higher low is there. 4 hour is, oh, don't do that. It's still bullish. You can see 4 hour higher low, and this is our 4 hour higher high. You can see that market is currently tapped into this 4 hour demand area right now. Tapped into this 4 hour demand area. It is a large area, so for me, we still have quite a lot of imbalance to fill. So could that mean that the market still wants to push lower potentially, and then maybe get that movement, a way to go and break this 4 hour high? That could be something that happens. But as of right now, we would need to see, this level broke in order to be confident enough. Like, let's say this area here that we have, where is it? Here, broke. Then you could potentially look for, you know, a pullback to then go along this. But as of right now, if you look at the structural point, you can see that market has been moving downwards. 15-minute more of a 15-minute trend, but we have been moving downwards. Now, we do have this area here, which is a 1 hour supply area, and that is where the market has come back into. So that is a 1 hour supply. Yes, I was looking more so for this 15-minute, but let's focus on this 1 hour at this moment in time. 1 hour last up candle before this movement down is where the market's retraced to. So yeah, that's what I was. Well, I wasn't personally waiting for the 1 hour. I was waiting to see a bit more of a deeper retracement, because if you look at the 15-minute, you can see that market had, a bit more imbalance to fill. So what I was wanting to see was, could we potentially create this Asian session, punch up above, tap into the imbalance, into the 50-minute supply, and then get that movement away. But we didn't have that. Could I still believe that this could still be an area that we come into? Yes, of course. It could be a scenario where the market comes into this 15-minute supply, fills in an imbalance, then carries on downwards, 100%. But yeah, it's just not the cleanest as of right now. If you look at this market structure, it's not something that I want to mess around with. Now, what I'd be hoping for, if we don't get a punch above, is, let's say market moves away from here right now and we get a clear structural, break again, and another clear supply area to trade from. That would be the best scenario at this moment in time. So as you can tell, not much to discuss on pretty much majority of the major pairs, being completely real with you. Now, GBP USD, obviously, you guys will know we're still in, this range here. We tapped into this demand. We got a bullish reaction from market slowly making its way into this 4 hour demand area here. Not quite got there at this moment in time. I was again waiting this morning to see if market would punch above these Asian highs here, all the equal highs that we have, fill in this imbalance, this little tiny gap into this supply area, and then get that movement away. And I still believe that could potentially happen. I do believe that could potentially happen. Right now, what we could be doing is getting early sellers in, people selling, people thinking that market's going to obviously sell off, and then it might just come back, tap above these Asian highs, tap out the stop losses or break evens into the imbalance, into the supply, and then move away. So that is, what I have basically got to look to look forward to today potentially. Of course, I'm still understanding that they have a 1 hour supply area up here as well. That we didn't mitigate. So it's going to be interesting going into today. I'm going to be patient. I'm obviously going to be sitting on my hands and seeing what is going to happen. Let's say the market carries on downwards. As of right now, I believe if this supply area, we could then look for like this. But yeah, it's going to be something that we have to be patient with. This demand area hasn't been met yet, so let's keep our eye out on that. Now, NZUSD, let's have a quick look just to see if she's given us any indication that something could be different. So you can see that from this daily range that we have, market come up into this 4 hour supply area, melted away, come back into this 4 hour supply area, and now it's just been pretty much slowly moving downwards. So 4 hour is exactly what I want to see from the EU and GUs, which we haven't quite got yet. But if you're looking at the scenario at this moment in time, let me just do this. We've got 33 minutes left on this candle. I would like to see this candle close as it is. So then we have a new supply area. But this candle needs to stay as it is. And if it does stay as it is, we could have a 4 hour supply area that we could be looking for here. But let's go into the 1 hour and see what's going on. So 1 hour C market still been ugly. We tapped into this supply, melted away, then came back up, cut out some break evens, then it started moving away. As you guys can see, still choppy. Just marking out what we can see here. This supply area met through this wick almost. Yeah, so still pretty choppy, melted away. So what I'd be waiting for from a 1 hour perspective is, could we potentially see, I'm going to go from middle of here around this area as a 1 hour supply. Um, and of course, we've had a nice candle closure on that 1 hour. So if we was potentially to, short form, I would like to see a punch above these highs here, and then, potentially see that happen. That's one scenario. But then also understanding that, where is the market right now? Market is just about to tap into this level of 1 hour demand. Do I think that could be the level that we obviously buy from? Well, yes, of course, because it's a valid level. But we are melting off. So it would be interesting to see what happens in this demand. Of course, longs would be from this area, buyers longs would be more suitable if we had a break above this high, and then it would be something that you could target. But as of right now, 1 hour supply is still in control. Now that leads me on to AUD USD. And as you can see, AUD USD it has been ugly. It has been annoying. It's been obviously downtrending, which is nice to of course look at. Um, but it's just not been, something that has been extremely clean. You can see the 4 hour supplies have held this 4 hour supply, this 4 hour supply, this 4 hour supply. But once we got into this internal structure here, it's just been it's been ugly, man. It's not been something that has been, the nicest to trade basically. Of course, supply and demand is always inside of the market. You can see supply is always, in control. But for me, these past few days, it's just not been something I wanted to trade from. Now, as you can see, this has probably been the best scenario this morning, which would be this supply area that we have here. You can see market broke away, left some imbalance as well, tapped into that 1 hour candle, 1 hour supply candle, and slowly getting to move away. Now, ideally, it'd be amazing if this low could get broke, and if that low could get broke, then of course it would give us an amazing reason to look for continued, trend downwards. So that is something that I'm keeping my eye on, of course. If I just look at the 30-minute or the 15-minute and see what's going on. Yeah, the 50 minutes, not 30-minute, 50 minutes, not much to talk about. But yeah, let's see how this trades and carries on, going downwards. It'll be interesting. Now, USD CHF finally hit take profit. As you guys can see from this 1 hour demand area here, we are now coming into this 1 hour supply area as well. So that is something definitely to keep an eye on. But as you can see, 1 hour structure, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and obviously now we've created a higher high. But demand has been in control perfectly. I am going to just quickly take a picture of this to send into the Discord if I can. Boom. Okay. And yeah, let's have a look at what is going on. So 4 hour, what can we see? 4 hour, we can see that, of course, it has been sideways. Um, but market has started to, come bullish here. Nothing as clear as a light. It was in this 4 hour supply. We did melt off. Now the market's come back up. So 4 hours not as nice as I'd look. I'd like to, sorry, not as nice as it should look. I am focusing on the fact that this is a 4 hour range, 4 hour lower high here, and this 4 hour lower low. Could this be market retracing into this 1 hour supply? And then could we potentially get a dump off? Um, that could be a scenario that we look out for, targeting, this trend line liquidity that's going on here. That could be something that happens, of course. Definitely could be something that happens. But let's see. Of course, it also needs to align with the dollar selling off as well, which would be ideal. The only thing is, with the dollar not being higher, does that mean that USD CHF is going to punch above, this 1 hour supply? Potentially it could, of course. Now, 1 hour, you can see nothing's clear at all in here for me to even look for anything, not as clear as these demand areas here. So I'm obviously not interested in, longing at this moment in time for USD CHF. Just to be real with you guys, I'm going to wait for some sort of confirmation at this moment in time to see if we can short or whatnot. Um, yeah, let's see. USD Japanese yen still in this 4 hour supply area as well. Um, let's just look at the 4 hour quickly. So still moving at this daily demand, but also understanding that my 4 hour range was or is from here to this low. This is where the 4 hour had that change of trend. Market obviously come up into this 4 hour supply, melted off. Now we're retraced into this 4 hour supply area here. Let me just zoom in. Didn't realize how much I was zoomed out then. So yeah, of course, we could get a valid sell off from here. That could be one scenario. It flows with a 4 hour. This would be the next 4 hour supply area, so it could potentially do that. But what is the 1 hour telling us at this moment in time? Well, 1 hour is telling us, of course, we're in this 1 hour supply area. Let's just mark this out, which is the extreme level of the supply here. So, in order for us to participate, we'd have to see a significant level broke. We have tapped into this demand area here this morning, filled in the imbalance, took out the Asian lows, and that's why we got this bullish reaction. So one scenario, if we carry on bullish, could be if we break above this high and we create a new demand area. Let's say the market was punched above, then of course you could continue looking for a demand to long here. Or of course, if market was to potentially come lower, breaking this low, we could then potentially look to short and target all of these lows as our liquidity. Um, so yeah, as you can see, what's happening right now with the markets is it's a predictable, we're predicting it. It's not like, okay, this is what I am 100% looking for. It's okay, this is what could potentially happen. We could do this and we could do this. So as you guys can see, it's not 100% concrete at this moment in time. So yeah, but that's all I'm going to cover today with the majors. I'm going to keep the crosspairs. I ain't had a look properly this morning at this moment in time, but let's look to the majors because there's not much going on. Truthfully, with the dollar major pairs. So yeah, if anyone's got any questions at all, fire them away in the Discord, and I will, be sure to get back to you guys as soon as I possibly can. Take care, have a good day, and we'll catch up in the Discord.